Having spent my time here at Great Lakes, I feel I've acquired enough knowledge and I feel better equipped to make that switch in my career. So as a corporate individual, I was confident that I needed to be at the top of my game in two aspects. One was technology and the other was business. Having worked for 4 years, I was pretty certain that I could ace the technology aspect because I worked on different implementation strategies, different technologies on a day-to-day basis. However, I wasn't really confident about the business aspect of the spectrum and what opportunities would it open for me if I acquired that knowledge. On a day-to-day basis, I worked on various IT solutions that impacted the business, but I did not understand how did it impact the business's life cycle. And I knew if I had to get an answer to all these questions, MBA was the right answer. Having spent my time here at Great Lakes, I feel I've acquired enough knowledge and I feel better equipped to make that switch in my career, because although I've majored in marketing, taking different courses and electives in finance, operations and analytics, I truly feel I understand the entire business cycle and various modules of business. The very first reason that motivated me to do an MBA. Right when I decided to do my MBA, I was sure Accenture Strategy was my dream job. I was 100% committed to put in my 200% to make myself ready for this role. For this, I interacted with alumni, expanded my network to understand more about the interview process. I did everything that I could to understand all the skill sets that were required for this job. The first round went on for about 40 minutes and it was all about going through my resume, and the interviewer basically tested my subject matter knowledge and how I applied all the things that I learned at 4 years at Accenture in the business spectrum of things. Apart from this, I was given different scenarios which needed me to be quick-witted, which needed me to think fast and provide creative and unique solutions. After this first round completed, we started with the second round, which was basically with the Accenture leadership. In that round, he assessed how and what I'd learned in my MBA journey and how differently I could apply it to my workplace and to bring value, which is of utmost importance at Accenture, to the clients. Having studied marketing, I was able to talk about the go-to-market strategies of the products. I was able to talk about the logistics of the business, and like that, the interview went. It was for about 30 to 35 minutes. In the second half of the interview, I was thrown different business scenarios which needed me to provide a digital implementation roadmap for the client and how differently I would do it or what different things I would bring to the table. Luckily for me, that round went seamlessly well. After these two grueling interviews, all that was left was the HR round, which essentially incorporated just behavioral questions, my location preferences, and questions like that. It was over in just 10 minutes. In a short span of time, I got a call from the placement coordinators, and I was informed very early in the morning that I was indeed selected for Accenture Strategy, my dream role from the very onset. And one thing that will always remain with me was that I was the first hire of the cohort of 2022. So I look back at the entire experience with just fond memories.
There's no tech without mech. I'm a mechanical engineer, but it was not the machines which I fell in love with. It was the language of Japanese. I completed my Japanese language course during my graduation, and that opened new doors for me. I was able to go to Japan and work for Nissan Motor Corp. So they say there that nice shoes take you to nice places, but I beg to differ. It's the niche skills which you hone, which drive your net worth and take you to nice places. As a design engineer for Nissan, I was able to work with the country's finest engineers, and that was like a dream come true. I was working with people from cross continents. So there I realized that no matter where I go, managing time and resource was critical, and to do that with adequate dexterity, I needed to be schooled at one of the top B schools our country had to offer, so I joined Great Lakes. think what they're looking for is a confident person with enough business acumen to handle clients from different cultural backgrounds and while delivering top-class solutions. They're looking for someone who they can portray as the face of their company without hesitation. You mix a niche skill and confidence, I think you have a potent concoction. In my case, the interviewer was looking for someone who had great presentation skills, but thanks to the countless grueling presentation experiences I had during this course, that was not a problem and I was able to crack that interview. Initial part of the course, to make great connections, make friends with people who bring out the best in you, push you, compete with you, and take you towards your goal. And also, the student should take advantage of this great campus and its amenities to strike the right balance between academics and sports.